There are some major proposed changes coming to Social Security, so it is best that you guys stick around until the end of the video for this one. Lawmakers are now realizing the importance of the program, and they want to keep it going for the long term. Now, they're seeing the importance of SSI, SSDI, and Social Security because it's close to collapsing. Seriously? It's about time, guys. New information has come out that hundreds of members of Congress received stolen investor money from the FTX Ponzi scheme. That's way too many people. Do you guys think that this money should be returned back to the original investors who got screwed out of it? Comment a quick yes or no on that one. And the Twitter files have revealed that Big Pharma did its best to censor users who had anything bad to say about the vaccines. We have a lot to uncover today, but before we dive in, please take a second, smash the like button for the video. It always helps out, and I really appreciate the support. And if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to Washington, D.C., what Congress is actually talking about, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, SNAP, EBT, the stock market, the housing market, and everything in between, make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is in the description down below. Never be caught off guard by another very expensive, unexpected home repair again. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is in the description down below. There's some controversy with the vaccines again. Now, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to get on here with new facts about this entire ordeal, but what I do know is that you guys, you deserve the truth. So here it is. The Twitter files has done it again as pharma companies are front and center. Pfizer's partner BioNTech pushed hard to censor activities who demanded low-cost generic vaccines for low-income countries. Why would a pharmaceutical company, one that's supposed to be looking out for our health, want to do that? Get this. At the onset of the health crisis, there was a push to make the solution equitable, work with partners throughout the globe so that the problem can be solved efficiently. But according to the files, Big Pharma saw it as a threat to incredible profits and wrote to the Biden administration, which was newly elected at the time, to sanction any country that attempted to violate patent rights and create generic low-cost C-19 drugs. The accounts that were thought of as fake were actual people, and Bio, the lobby group that represents biopharma, which includes both Moderna and Pfizer, gave $1.275 million to a campaign that would set content moderation rules around any kind of C-19 misinformation, even if the information that was being shared was actually factual. I can't quite wrap my head around this. How could this possibly have happened? If you guys have any ideas as to why all of this happened, please do share them in the comments down below. You know what doesn't need a why? The importance of Social Security. No question. People need that. People worked hard for it. People paid for it. And some congressmen are reintroducing a bipartisan Social Security Act because funds are expected to be exhausted by 2035. So it's called the Bipartisan Social Security Commission Act, and it's being pushed by Congressman Jake LaTurna and Representative Tom Cole. According to LaTurna, quote, Social Security isn't just another program. It's a promise made to American seniors, and Congress must work to ensure that the promise is kept. If we don't take action, Social Security will soon lack the funding to pay retirees their hard-earned benefits. I'm proud to join Representative Cole in reintroducing the Bipartisan Social Security Commission Act, which focuses on common sense solutions to save Social Security and helps guarantee Kansans get the benefits they deserve. End quote. Common sense. I like that. It should be common sense that the cash flow and passive income for Social Security be kept intact. We wouldn't be here if the generations before us didn't work their butts off, right? Now, I hope that this is studied ASAP. And what happened to the idea before from Senator Bernie Sanders? Adding $200 a month to these benefits? That was also a great idea. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, that was also President Biden's promise to the American people. Now, on the topic of great ideas, how about transparency? Investors lost out big time to the entire FTX Ponzi scheme, and major media companies like Reuters, Bloomberg, CNBC, just to name a few, are demanding the public disclosures of the two individuals who were responsible for guaranteeing Sam Bankman-Fried's $250 million bond.
The former FTX CEO is out on a $250 million bond, the largest ever for pretrial bail in U.S. history. For context, Ponzi schemer Bernie Madoff was subject to a $10 million bail secured by his mansions across the country. Enron CEO Jeff Skilling had to post a $5 million bail, and recently imprisoned Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes had to fork over $500,000. Now, the terms of Bankman-Fried's bail agreement also include electronic monitoring and restrictions on mobility. He's had his passport confiscated and will be confined to the Northern District of California, where he will be living with his parents in their Palo Alto home. His parents co-signed that bond and put up equity in their house as collateral, which is due on January 12th. Now, as for that $250 million bond, that number is actually less impressive when you consider the fact that Bankman-Fried's parents merely had to guarantee his behavior and put up the equity in their Palo Alto house. The house is valued at $4 million on Zillow, a fraction of the $250 million that he owes. A former federal prosecutor described it as essentially an unsecured bond, sort of an empty promise only backed by his parents' interest in their home, which is all that they stand to lose if he flees.
And you gotta wonder, who could it have been? His lawyers are saying that there would be a safety issue if the names were actually made public. That could make sense seeing as how a stalker tried to conduct a citizen's arrest on SBF at his parents' house. Since we're already on FTX, were you guys aware that some lawmakers received money from them? I know that you knew that, but did you know that there were 196 of them? Yeah, the number alone would mean that about 1 in 3 members of Congress had taken donations from Sam Bankman-Fried. We also know that even President Biden took millions of dollars as a donation, all of it stolen money. Do you guys think that this money will ever be audited and returned to investors? Or are we just supposed to let that money go now? And money, we always talk about it, and if you guys remember Dr. Scott Gottlieb, you would see where I'm going with this. Gottlieb, he was a very vocal supporter of the vaccines, so much so that he said that if the opportunity presented itself, he would get his young kids vaccinated as long as they were made eligible. But were you guys aware that Gottlieb made more than $360,000 as a board director at Pfizer? That's right, guys. The former FDA chief is also part of Pfizer. Wow. Isn't that a conflict of interest? No wonder he kept pushing Pfizer vaccines on us and wanted us to get jabbed. Speaking of wonders, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell seems to have former President Trump's back as he suggests that investigations regarding his possession of classified documents be treated in the same way as President Biden's, warning federal prosecutors to apply the same set of standards for both of them. He added this, quote, "I think the important thing with regard to documents is that both these guys ought to be treated exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. And so I think the Attorney General probably did the right thing by having 2 special counsels. What's good for one candidate for president ought to be good for another one," end quote. Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz doesn't think that classified documents debacle with both former and current president will lead to anything for both men. He also adds that other presidents have done it as well, and that, quote, "We're going to see a lot of comparisons. And in the end, we have 2 special prosecutors. They were appointed because if you're going to appoint one against somebody who's running for president, you should appoint another for the other person who's running for president. Neither will recommend prosecution," end quote. Do you guys think that it's okay that our country's top secret documents are treated in this manner, haphazardly, and who knows where they are? And do you think that there's going to be no accountability at the end of all this? I can tell you what's not okay: the state of our finances. It doesn't matter who you are. A majority of American households are struggling right now, but that doesn't have to be the case. There are opportunities out there, some that may improve our cash flow, but it's up to us, it's up to you to seize the moment. You guys have no idea just how much better our financial situations could be if we adapted, the proper budgeting to fit your lifestyle, or if you manage multiple streams of income through side hustles or small businesses. Even if you're an investor, maybe an entrepreneur, there are ways to make money in both real estate market, housing market, creating an online business, drop shipping, you name it. Now, if you are interested in any of this, feel free to join us over in the Patreon community. There's a link in the description down below. But before I go, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video, subscribe for all future videos if you want your daily dose of the truth. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.